Hey guys, I'm Ori Day, and in this video we're going to attempt to beat the OG Resident Evil 4 with explosive weapons only. Now, if you've been around this channel long enough, you'd vaguely remember me doing this challenge way back. It was in fact the very first video I had uploaded onto this channel, and it has since been privated for a good number of years for the following very good reasons. A. I had attempted it on normal mode. B. The gameplay was terrible. And C, the video looked like it was recorded on a toaster. And since it's the era of remakes anyway, and also for old time's sake, I figured why not? Before we get into the challenge, we need to first define what counts as an explosive weapon. I've included all three grenade types, the mine thrower, the rocket launcher, and this fourth weapon might come as a surprise to many of you, it's chicken eggs. Now look, here's my logic behind this. When you throw a chicken egg at something, it explodes on contact, hence making it an explosive weapon. That, and I had to cut corners somewhere. And hey, eggs are known to explode in the microwave, so it's not that far off the mark, okay? As always, I will not be allowed to stun or kill enemies with any other weapon but the explosive weapons. I will also not be allowed to use anything but the explosive weapons on obstacles and key items that are out of reach. I will, however, be allowed to knife crates, barrels, and vases. So with all that said, let's get right into it.
Resident Evil 4.
Now here's the part where I failed the challenge before it really even gets started. I was supposed to start the game on New Game Plus with at least one grenade in my inventory to kill this guy, but I did not have any grenades to roll over from a previous playthrough. I spent about half an hour trying to fish for any sort of grenade in this crate right here, but I don't think it's programmed to give you anything apart from handgun bullets, cash, a green herb, or even better, nothing at all. So for the sake of having a video to put out for you guys, let's just assume I blew him up and move on. This crow right here always drops a hand grenade when you kill it, but I had nothing to kill it with, so I guess it's the crow's lucky day today. In this area, I pretty much just holed up at the top of the tower until it was time for the Ganados to go play bingo. And then it was time to go farming for chicken eggs, lots of them. So here's one way the chicken eggs have proven useful, to trip the tripwires. So after offering Luis a stick of gum,
Got gum.
and running past these guys, I thought about fishing for some grenades in these barrels, but I'd forgotten that the game really likes giving you handgun ammo even if you don't have a handgun to begin with. And as always, the Ganados never fail to impress me with their intelligence here. So one problem with this challenge is not being able to get treasures that are out of reach, like this brass pocket watch for example. I tried to see if the eggs could be of some help here, but it was a lost cause unfortunately. Anyway, after some running around, we make it to the bingo room, which is where I managed to score a flash grenade from this crate. I also tried to see if the eggs could be used to knock down items from the nests, but that didn't work either. In the swamp, there are two tripwires blocking Leon's path. I took out the first one with the chicken egg and let this Ganado's superior intelligence deal with the second one. And after the fight with Del Lago, I sadly realized I couldn't go fishing for free fish for lack of space in my inventory. Now you'd think, why not just buy a bigger attach case? Well, the problem is that I had to buy two rocket launchers back to back. That and not being able to reach a lot of the treasures meant that money was tight. At the waterfall, ideally I needed 3 hand grenades to knock down the 3 suspended boxes, but I only had 2. So that's where the first rocket launcher came in. I took down one of the boxes from up here, politely ignored this poor Ganado's failed attempt at making me his dinner while taking down the second box from up here, and the third one had to be taken down with the rocket launcher as much as it pained me to do so. Anyway, after that, it was time to head over to meet the giant, which is where the second rocket launcher came in. The fight lasted all but 2 seconds, except for the part where I had to restart from checkpoint because Leon was in the blast radius the first time, something that will continue to happen quite a lot as we progress through this challenge. It was then time to acquire Ashley and stock up on even more useless handgun ammo. Now you might think, why not just ignore unwanted ammo drops? Well, the thing about this game is that the best way to maximize your chances of getting what you do want is by maxing out your inventory on handgun ammo. About 250 bullets usually does the trick. And after using a precious flash grenade to get Ashley down of this roof, it was finally time for the best segment of the village, which is Luis's cabin. And in case you couldn't tell, I'm being sarcastic, because the cabin fight was chaotic to say the least. So here's another reason why I stocked up on chicken eggs, to heal while I ran around in circles letting Luis do all the work. Also, you'd think he'd have the decency to actually give me something useful, but no, it was handgun bullets every time. I did end up using 2 flash grenades to get out of some tight spots, which I wasn't too happy about, but I also wasn't about to reattempt the whole thing, so I just went with it. And as always, I took the door on the right since you can easily outrun the second giant. This brings us to the gondola ride, which is where we discover my last reason for stocking up on chicken eggs, knocking down these suicidal guys who tried to sever our ride. They're also pretty useful for healing since I had no choice but to eat all the axes the rest of the Ganados kept throwing at us. Now actually it is possible to get rid of these jumpers with hand grenades before they get close enough to take you down with them, except that there's 2 of them and I only had 1 hand grenade left. That, and it's also a pain getting rid of them with the grenades, trust me, speaking from experience here, hence the chicken eggs. Don't hold it against me. And then we finally get to face the big cheese who, true to his name, melts at the sight of incendiary grenades, 5 of them to be specific. So after blinding the hit and run guy, we finally made it to the castle, which I was pretty excited about because I could finally get my hands on the mine thrower, which proved to be pretty useful right off the bat to get rid of Skullface and this catapult guy. The Garrador was obviously no match for the mine thrower, but what came next was a strong contender for the single worst time I've ever had playing Resident Evil 4, and that almost never happens because I really like this game. The water room was a terrible experience. I didn't want to have to attack any of the enemies up until the part where Ashley raises the water platforms for fear of wasting ammo, but getting to that part was the single most frustrating thing in this entire challenge, though maybe not as frustrating as actually watching out for her while she's up there. Maybe I'm just rusty because I haven't done a challenge in years, but Ashley was trying really hard to sabotage me in every way conceivable. Except maybe this last one is on me, but still. Anyway, this is what my inventory was looking like at the end of that. Not too bad, and I most certainly did not want to try again for a better outcome. But never fear, because Goatface is here to make everything better. And by better, I mean worse, because this guy single-handedly tanked 6 mine darts up his rear end before finally coughing up the gallery key. The gallery itself was pretty straightforward, and Salazar's pets weren't much of a threat either. I ignored the Garrador in the cage, and a single incendiary grenade was more than enough to get past the bridge in the free rocket launcher room. But this is where things got complicated again. Saving Ashley from the shackles turned into killing her 50 times over trying to find the right spot where the blast radius from the mine darts would be enough to free her without taking her with it, but I succeeded eventually. And in this area, you bet I used the lanterns on the zealots because for once they also count as an explosive weapon. I then take out the Skullface guarding the lion ornament, put 2 shots into Salazar's spiky descending ceiling, 1 shot into the guys driving whatever the hell that thing is, and then it was time for the dreaded night room, except that it turned out to be pretty easy. All I had to do was put a single mine dart into each of the knights' heads, then throw a flash grenade to seal the deal. Repeat for round 2. This part right here was pretty nerve-wracking, but I managed to get Ashley through in almost one piece, just in time for her express flight to literally the next area over. Anyway, as much as it pained me to use perfectly good mine darts on wood chips, it had to be done. And then it was time to battle the dual Garradors with my free rocket launcher. Except that I had underestimated this guy's suit of armor, I unfortunately still needed to put 1 measly mine dart into the Plaga mass on his back. Had I known earlier, I would not have used my last remaining shot on these shield guys just outside. This meant that I had to do the thing that I dread most in these challenges, which is reload from my inventory. And for those of you saying that I could have just reloaded from this save point, I didn't save here, or even here for that matter, and I wasn't about to do this all over again. Anyway, I then buy a rocket launcher to take out Vertigo, and then another rocket launcher for the dual giant fight, which was only a single giant fight since I plopped one of them into the lava pit. Probably not the best move in hindsight since the lava pit doesn't exactly count as an explosive weapon, but you be the judge of that. The Novistador cave was not a great experience, but I did manage to get through with just 1 flash grenade used. I put 1 mine dart smack in the center of the second spiky descending ceiling, And then it was time for the dreaded minecart ride, which unlike the night room was definitely not easy. Some of my grenades would just phase through the carts and I had to use a ton of healing items. But thank heavens Capcom never got rid of this glitch where the Ganados can't seem to do more than just stare you down in the final portion of the ride. My inventory after wasn't looking great, but at least I had the chance to see the merchant for one final capacity upgrade before parting ways until the fight with Salazar. And speaking of Salazar, running from the giant animated statue of him while phasing through crumbling pillars will never get old. I was relatively concerned about the cargo lift ride, but managed to score some lucky flash grenade throws which helped out a ton. I still had to use 2 incendiary grenades and a few mine darts, but I wasn't complaining. The fight with Salazar himself was pretty anticlimactic. All it took was 1 mine dart to the eye followed by a rocket launcher to the body, and that was the end of that, which is pretty much the pattern of this challenge. Easy boss fights, chaotic everything else. And then we finally made it to the island portion of the game. So on the island, I pretty much ran past everything at the start up until these guys behind the shutter. The Iron Maiden took 12 mine darts to explode, which was just mildly inconveniencing since I only had to reload 2 shots from my inventory, the rest being courtesy of the merchant. First, the remake's removal of free bullets with capacity upgrades. I ran past some more guys and finally reunite with Ashley much to my great dismay. Also, I'm not sure why I expected to find her fully healed, but no, it seems that the Plaga ambiance has not done her any favors. I use a flash grenade here and here to make my life easier, nearly shit myself through this lucky dodge, and then it was time for the Wrecking Ball room,
You pervert!
where I unfairly get called a pervert for accidentally bleeding out right between Ashley's legs. Much apologies for the inconvenience, Your Highness. Anyway, I then run past these regenerators and stand guard like a man while Ashley crawls through this sizable gap into an unsecured area to open the shutter all the way for Lord Machismo to pass through. The bulldozer ride was simple enough and I even got lucky with an ammo drop of 5 mine darts towards the end. And after some light cardio followed by a well-deserved break, it was time to face U3, who was fairly simple to avoid in the first half and easy enough to kill in the second half as expected. It only took a rocket launcher and a single mine dart to put it down. Next up was Krauser, who unlike the other bosses I wasn't optimistic about facing. I jumped up and down the ladder to buy time for this door to unlock and put 4 mine darts into his body, one of them ending up in a fairly questionable area to get him to disappear. And then it was time for the moment of truth, which surprisingly lasted all but 10 seconds. Apparently, a rocket launcher straight to the face followed by a hand grenade to the rear is the next most effective way to kill Krauser after the knife. To say I was surprised would definitely be an understatement. I then run around some more, traumatize Ada, reunite with Ashley again, and it was finally time for the final boss fight. I ended up using 2 hand grenades, 20 mine darts, the regular rocket launcher, and the special rocket launcher to defeat Sadler. Oh, and I didn't use the steel girders. I could probably have gotten away with using less with better planning, but I wasn't really too concerned about that honestly. And with that, the challenge comes to an end. So that brings the question, is it possible to beat Resident Evil 4 with explosive weapons only? I'd say the answer is yes. Of course you'd have to do it on New Game Plus, which I didn't. And also the chicken eggs to knock the guys off the gondola ride is a little iffy, but all in all, I'd say this was a better attempt than the first time around and easier on the eyes too. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this blast from the past and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.